The third strategy is the blue-green deployment strategy. So the quick overview is blue-green deployment involves running two identical production environments. The current version blue is live, so we've got one live and one ready to go live, while the new version green is deployed and tested. Once verified, the traffic is switched from blue to green. So if you think about having a highly scalable and resilient application, then you should have something like a load balancer. And essentially, what you could do with this strategy is to have the green deployed and tested on one load balancer and then the blue on the other. And then when it's ready to kind of be switched, then all you do is change load balancers and then test that out, make sure everything is seamless and so on. So pros for this are there's zero downtime, because essentially you're just switching traffic from one load balancer to another or one instance to another, and again, seamless with no downtime. Rollback is easy to revert to the previous version if needed, so we could keep that instance of the blue open and make sure that there's no issues with the green deployment, and that is quite handy as well. So the other pro is that testing, so a new version can be thoroughly tested before going live, because we could direct certain amount of traffic to this, ensuring that there's no issues with this. And the third one is testing, which is the new version can thoroughly be tested before going live. So essentially you can test your application on a production environment and also whitelist certain IPs so that the current traffic is going to the blue deployment, and then when we are ready we can then divert to the green. So that is another pro. If you look at the cons, you can see it's resource intensive, which means that you require double the resource to maintain two environments, because and in turn that would increase the cost. If you're handling or managing two environments, that will definitely be more overhead, and you're also going to need to manage the time as well on both resources, because again, if we're testing on one, we also need to make sure that the blue one is still working as well. So the resource is intensive, so you got to think about when it comes to costs and also time. And there are other ones, but and another con is the complexity, because managing two environments and switching traffic can be complex, so you need to make sure that you get the right people that can be able to do that. So making sure you are switching routes, and this can be done by making sure you're doing the correct DNS switch, which is the domain name server switch. And an example is here. If you scroll just underneath, you can see Elastic Beanstalk is good to manage this as well. So that is the blue green deployment strategy. Let's go ahead and implement that now. So in our code, let me just quickly clear this out. Then this is going to be renamed. So let's rename this. So essentially this is going to be recreate file responsible for this functionality over here. So that's fine. But now what we want to do is create two YAML files. So one for blue and one for green. Let's go ahead and create that. So this is going to be blue dash deployment, paste in my code. So now all I want to do is basically copy this in again, but this time we want to rename this. So it's going to be the green deployment.yaml. And then in this green deployment.yaml, everywhere is blue, it's going to be now be green. So that's handy. And then all we need to do now is basically apply both deployments. So essentially paste in, I'll apply blue and green as well. Let's apply them. So now they are created. So now we need to create a service route to traffic. So let's do that, which is another YAML file. So again, let's go in here and create a new file, and this is going to be called service YAML. So this will make the switch happen. So let's paste this in, and this is going to be called the blue green. The protocol is P, which again is a protocol. If you hover over it and you're unsure what that is the TCP protocol that we need. Now all I need to do is apply this. So kubectl and then the YAML file we've created. So that is service dash, and then let's just apply that one as well. So now all you need to do is switch traffic to green. So update the service. So basically, let me just bring in my command. So it's kubectl patch service, example service, piece of the selector, and then obviously the service is basically this service, not the example service. So let me just in here name it is blue green. So blue service, and then we want the selector and we want the version of green. So all we need to do now is press enter. Service blue green service patched. So Essentially, that has now switched the deployments across from blue to green. So let's just check in our dashboard what's going on. So into our here and in home, we want to find our cluster. So resource groups. In here, we want to go in Imran's V app, and then we found our cluster. So that's fine. If you want information on what's going on, you can see all of the basic information, but we want to go in workloads. We have our blue green deployment, and essentially you can go into each one. So I'm just going to go in green, and you can see this is pending. So again, this is switching now, but we have two deployments happening at the same time. Is a chain of events will happen, so your pipeline will should run. It should build a Docker image of your application, and then once all that's successful, then this will deploy. So this is just showing you up until we press the command of deploy. After that, we need a pipeline to run everything and make sure everything works correctly. So that's why this is showing as pending. Have done is we've retargeted from the blue YAML file to the green YAML file with that command we just did.